In my last video, I did a challenge where I used only great weapons with no shields and no means of being able to passively heal myself outside of picking up health packs, and based off your guys' comments, you guys got this idea that I'm some sort of like masochist or I'm into some alternative like ball torture. And these things just aren't true. I mean, come on. This is coming from a guy who has 10 years in League of Legends, and one of which I had close to 1,000 games played in ranked. So I think it's safe to say that I'm mentally okay. So now I only think it's appropriate to take things a little bit easier. So in this video, I'll be finding out if I can beat Borderlands 3 by only strafing. The rules around this challenge are pretty simple. I can only walk side to side. I can drive a car only if it has omni wheels equipped, or if it's a quest vehicle, like the biofuel rig or the reactor we delivered to Roland's Rest. And the last rule being, I can't use my guardian rank. Other than that, all else goes. I can use my talents, whatever weapons I want, and equipment. With all this out of the way, let's get into the challenge. So going into this challenge, I knew clearing large gaps and ladders are going to be a bit of a challenge, so I decided to play Amara. Not only because she has the ground slam ability that can help me get across ledges a little bit easier, but I've also never played Amara in this game. So starting off, we meet with Claptrap and he hands me my echo device, and within not even a minute into the challenge, I already failed it by walking forward. So I thought it was only appropriate that I rebind my keys to my arrow keys, because I'm more than likely not going to be pressing that. I walked on over to the new U station and made myself a nice outfit, and then we're off to fight the COV. It went pretty smoothly until I realized that I had my guardian rank on, failing the challenge again. But we're not so far into the challenge, so I think we're still in the clear. So I went ahead and turned it off. I got my first shield, which required me to do a little bit of some wacky sideways jumping. After getting my shield, it was time to start the Shiv fight. It was a relatively easy boss, nothing too special, you know, being the first boss of the game, I kinda just spanked him up and down the room. I hit level 2 and I chose my first special ability, which was Phase Lock. I thought Phase Lock would be pretty useful just in case enemies got too close, I could just lock them down. Went ahead and freed Claptrap from his magnetic sex swing, and I kissed his boo-boos. Claptrap put up the bat signal for Lilith and she came down and gave me my grenade mod. After equipping the grenade mod, we fight some more COV, and after killing the COV, we held Lilith's hand as best as I could. She was just outrunning me the entire time. She unlocked a door for us, and we made our way to the Droughts. I did Marcus's side mission of fixing his vending machine by getting an electric skag spine, but I felt like this would be kind of a boring and cheap thing to do, so I decided that I won't be doing side quests from now on, and I will be just mainly focusing on the main story. Also, I turned on Bongo Cat so you guys can see my keystrokes, and you can see how many times I attempt to press the W or S key. After finishing Marcus's side quest, we made our way to Vaughn, and while fighting the children in the vault, I ran out of ammo quite a bit, which is quite unusual, but it didn't matter too much because I made my way to Vaughn. I freed Vaughn and escorted him, killed some skags that were blocking our way, and we eventually reunited with Lilith. Vaughn tells us that his men actually gave up the map to the Calypsos, so we needed a ride. And what better way to get a ride than our girl Ellie? Ellie needed us to go get a vehicle for the catch ride machine. Now, my only concern was how am I going to hijack a vehicle? Because, you know, I'm moving too slow and I can't really sprint to catch up or capitalize off of them crashing. So I knew that, okay, well, this is pretty easy. After hijacking the vehicle, I delivered it back to the catch ride machine. I jumped the gap of the vehicle. Now, you guys may be wondering, this isn't a quest vehicle. I'm purely using it for traveling purposes. And you'd be right. But I've tested this before on Moe's, trying to clear the gap, and after I finished the playthrough on Amara, trying to clear the gap with her ground slam, and I couldn't quite get it, so for all intensive testing purposes, I just cleared the gap with the vehicle. I just want to set the record straight to see if I can actually do this. So let's see, if I have a grenade mod that doesn't blow up on impact. Okay. If I don't kill myself doing this. Oh, okay. Actually is possible. Hold on. Okay. So I just need to reload. Oh. There we are. I can actually do it. So now I can lift that weight off of my shoulder. But that doesn't mean that I get to drive it all the way, so I immediately hopped out after I landed. And what I realized walking all the way to the broadcasting center is I didn't have the privilege of just driving past enemies or running them over. I actually had to defend myself in the open. After some walking, and more walking, and more walking, we made it to the broadcasting center. Much like the children of the vault before, it was fairly easy to clear them all out. We killed Mouthpiece, got the map back, and went back to Lilith. We needed to charge the map because apparently Lilith is unable to, so we had to crab walk all the way to Tannis' camp. We gave the map to Tannis, and while she was charging the map, we needed to defend her from the children of the vault. And after that whole pickle was over, Tannis was finally able to charge the map, and we walked over to Sanctuary. We needed to fuel for the Sanctuary, so Ellie gave us this biofuel rig that we used to run over some enemies. But after I was done using that, I put the car back, and I waddled my way over to the astronaut ship because there was no use left for the vehicle. So we fought our way through some COV for the astronaut ship, waddled all the way back to Sanctuary, and Lilith got her powers taken. Killed some COV and saved Lilith. After that, we went into Sanctuary. On Sanctuary, we had to do some house chores, like helping Tannis, Marcus, and saving the crew from Claptrap. The Calypso showed us their little PowerPoint presentation, and shortly after, we got a distress call. With that distress call, I beamed down into Promethea and fought some rats and bandits, and met up with Lorelei. Me and Lorelei were going on a cruise, but I was going on a walk. While I was on this beautiful walk, I ran into this bandit vehicle that had Omni wheels, and I was so happy to see it because that means I get to drive a car. But unfortunately, I couldn't hijack it, and I paid the price for it. I continued to follow Lorelei, made it into Lorelei's refugee camp, and killed some Malawan and COV that were invading. After stopping that invasion, we made our way to the Meridian Metroplex, did some more killing of Malawan, and we met up with Reese. Lorelei gave us some on wheels. I politely declined, and while walking my way to the next objective, I said to myself,
if I get Malawan wheels, I can move sideways on the car. Oh, I guess we'll wait to see if I can find a Malawan car. Oh, speak of the devil.
So after breaking the shackles of having to walk everywhere, I finally got to drive a vehicle with Omni wheels. Fought my way through more Malawan, met up with the homeboy Zero. Me and Zero killed some security bots in the weapons depot, only that Zero betrayed me by not picking me up, and I was again spawn camped.
Oh,
After all this nonsense was over, I looted some of the weapon chests and found this purple pistol that'll just about carry me through a good portion of the playthrough. Got Zero his sword upgrade after some trading. He cut open the shield, and we were off to kill Gigamind. Now, I mentioned how this pistol would carry me, and just look how much damage I'm doing to Gigamind. So it's safe to say that this pistol does buku bonkers damage. After killing Gigamind and stealing his brain, we gave it to Reese, went back to Sanctuary, and Maya contacted us. And I wasn't opposed to helping out Maya, so we beamed down to Athena's. And in Athena's, my pistol was set into shock mode, yet it was doing fire damage, and I didn't quite understand for just about the entire playthrough as to why my pistol was also doing fire damage. But post-editing, I actually found out it was just a talent point I had. I was so paranoid why this was happening, I was checking if my Guardian rank was still enabled, or if I had some sort of like class mod or grenade mod that was doing it. But putting my paranoia aside, I followed Maya and killed some more Malawan, until we ran into this windmill, which I remember that there was a chest on top of, and I attempted to try to get on top. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, so I just gave up. I met up with Ava. Me and Ava did some grave robbing for some iridium. After getting the iridium, we went to go meet up with Maya, killing her way through, yet again, you could have guessed, more Malawan. This time we ran into Captain Tron. Captain Tron's a relatively easy fight. The only hard thing for me is dodging the orb that's circling around the room and Tron being immune to fire damage. But with some good juking skills and consistent shots, I was able to kill him. We grabbed the vault key, and Reese needed our help because Katagawa was firing lasers at him. So we stole a Malawan whip, and we went off to Skyworld 27, where I would meet a lot of jumping challenges. First one being this quite large gap that I couldn't clear with just jumping. I tried grenade jumping, but it was a little weird since it was low gravity and all, and the grenade would actually bounce too high up. So I just thought of equipping the ground slam ability. My first attempt was pitiful, and I had to wait out the timer and think about my decisions. Second time around, I went a little bit higher up, and honestly I could have just cleared it without the ground slam, but hey, I cleared it. Time in and time out again, we kill more Malawan, and killed more Malawan that were blocking an elevator. After all that was over, I did a sideways shuffle through a vent and ran into some jumping obstacles. I for some reason thought I couldn't clear the gap, so I jumped up on this blue pipe, which got me across, and then I ran into a larger gap, which I wasn't too confident about clearing, and I was right in not being too confident because I died the first time. I for some reason couldn't get back onto the orange pipe and found out I can actually just jump across. While surveying my surroundings to see if I can somehow get around this large gap, I used the pipes to my advantage. I thought I was in the clear after clearing out this hurdle, only to find out that I need to climb a ladder. Just kidding, I can actually hop up the ledge. Did some more Malawan killing, and yet again, we were met with another large gap, so I had to re-equip my ground slam. My first attempt was questionable, but I made it across. Killed some children of the vault for a change, and jumped down to shoot. Killed some floating balls, and put Reese into my own personal pleasure sphere. That is a weird word to say. Pleasure sphere. My own pleasure sphere. And put Reese into my own personal pleasure. Wow. And put Reese into my own personal pleasure sphere. He hacked the terminal for me, and we initiated the Katagawa ball fight. First time around was not so good. I died to missiles because I was too incompetent to dodge them. Died the second time to a laser, and Katagawa was trying to burn my retinas. Given that the hardest part about this fight was the armor, I looked through my mail to see if I have any corrosive weapons, and I actually had a corrosive Maliwan sniper. But I wasn't all in the clear. I died to some flying magma balls. Fourth attempt to put my head on straight and decided to keep my distance and hide behind cover. After breaking the armor, it was pretty much safe sailing after that, given that my pistol has shock on it, and it does absolutely crazy damage. After all that debacle was over, made my way to the Atlas HQ, fought my way through some, you guessed it, more Maliwan. And I mean, again, I know I'm bringing this up a lot, but just look at this pistol damage. I ran into the phony Zero, who was actually Katagawa, and we did the Katagawa fight. Now, just like how I remembered it around the first time when this game came out, this fight was questionable, because of how easy it was. I mean, Katagawa does nothing but teleport around and throw smoke screens, so it's safe to say it was a pretty easy fight. Made my way back to the Meridian Metroplex, got into another mission vehicle, and I made the big noob move of getting it blown up. After killing some COV, I went back to a catch ride to respawn it. After driving some more, I blew it up again, but that's okay because we made it to the train station. And in the train station, I found this legendary pistol that did fire damage. I made my way into the vault and we started the Rampager fight. Now, the start of this fight was pretty smooth until I got to 1/3 of the HP, and he became fire resistant, and every time he leaped, he hurled fireballs at me. So this definitely jacked up the difficulty of the boss fight a little bit. Maya almost doesn't save me, so I had to save myself. And after having to put the whole team on my back, I killed the boss. Maya gets slurped off by Troy, and we meet with Sir Jacobs in Eden 6. Wainwright offers to help me get a vault key, but in return, I had to go help save his husband. So we drive off to the Anvil. We meet up with the boy Brick, and I don't think Brick's too fond of me because he's always threatening me with knuckle sandwiches. Me and Brick fought our way through COV, and we met up with the girl Tina. Tina wants us to help her make a pizza, so I get the toppings for her. I get the ham, I get the onions, and I get the sauce. I take all the ingredients back to Tina, and she crafts the perfect pizza. When delivering the pizza, Birdman himself helps me out. I place the pizza to break into the prison, and we start the warden boss fight. This fight, as you could have guessed, was fairly easy. I reunited Sir Hammerlock with Sir Jacobs. We broke into the Jacobs Manor to get a clue for the vault key. Really tries to entice me with the open invitation, only to get phase locked by Troy, and only for my boy Wainwright to save me. We fought our way through some COV into the theater, where I encountered my first anointed, which went pretty smoothly until the end, but we got him down. I did the theater puzzle, and almost forgot how to do it since it had been so long. I collected the record and gave it to Wainwright. Wainwright needed some time to figure it out, so he went to go send me on some monotonous task of helping out Clay. Helped Clay clear out some COV and restore power to the town. We couldn't get into a weapon vault, so obviously it was up to me to go find out how to get into it. And we were off to Fort Sunshine. I got my car stuck, so I had shame put upon me and I had to walk the rest of the way. When we got to Fort Sunshine, unfortunately we couldn't just mosey on in through the front door, so we had to find a new way in. So we made our way to the lumber mill, where I ran into 2 sets of ladders, but I easily scaled around it by just using the environment. We just gotta really hope that there's not gonna be like a gigantic place where I gotta scale an extremely tall ladder. Fought my way through the lumber mill, found my new way into Fort Sunshine, and if you're familiar with League of Legends term, I made Bandit go sky. I got the key for the gun safe, Wainwright learned how to play a record, and we found out the vault key is actually on a crashed ship. So I drove off to the Voracious Canopy. I got a little too excited and got my car stuck yet again. Okay, man. What? This is ridiculous. And I had shame put upon me once more and I had to walk all the way. Inside a Voracious Canopy, there's some fire-resistant dinos that I wanted no part of, so I just did sideways hops away from them. Saved Balix from a T-Rex, and Balix was in a cute little teddy bear. We broke into the Jacob's ship. For a change, we fought some rats. Balix wanted a new home, so I popped the security bot's head off and stored him on it. Unfortunately, a Jabber thought Balix shouldn't have nice things, so he busted the security bot wide open. We had to find Balix a new home, and finding a new home for Balix brought a new jumping puzzle. And with the new jumping puzzle, it was time to abuse my ground slam again, and waiting out the timer again. After we knocked the robot down, I put Balix on the Diddy bot, and he blasted himself off. I went to go find Balix, and instead we found Genevieve and Balix, and this started the Genevieve fight. Now this fight was, again, fairly easy for me. Fortunately, I was in the Diddy party this time, and balls were just bouncing everywhere, and they were kind of hard to dodge. Other than that, it was a pretty easy fight. We beam up to back into Sanctuary, only to find out that Genevieve hacked it, and I had to shove Balix into a computer so he could shove her into a hard drive. For whatever reason, Marcus wanted her. Met back up with Clay, and we had to do a filler arc, which was the Rogue Organization. This led me to the tallest ladder I had to scale yet. Spent a little bit of time clearing some support beams, and in return, cleared my first ladder. I attempted for about 10 minutes to try to cheese my way up past the ladder, but I got desperate and decided to implore the Borderlands 3 save editor and swap my character to Zane. Had to re-clear the area, but I found out that I still couldn't get past the second ladder. I tried desperately to get as high as I possibly could and somehow glitched my digiclone through the bottom of the floor, but I always looked down at disappointment. But my hope for this run wasn't out just yet. I remember I watched the Jolts Dude speedrun on Borderlands 3, and I was curious as to how he would get around this. Maybe exploitation or some sort of jump, I don't know. Turns out he just climbed the ladder. I noticed he was doing some sort of weird jumping tech, which I didn't know you could do because I would only just shoot off the ladder. I tried pressing one key and looking in the opposite direction and spamming the jump button. With some trial and error, I actually was able to get it pretty consistently to get me to climb up.
Holy fuck.
Wait, that's fucking crazy. I continued with the rest of the mission of smacking this barrel, defending the scanner, and killing some more COV. Went ahead and swapped my save back to Amara, went to the rogue's base, followed the loot tracker, and put a bow tie on the side quest, killing Archimedes. Talked to Wainwright to go finally claim the vault key. It was time to fight Aurelia. Now, my first attempt could have gone better. Icicles were a little bit hard for me to dodge because I couldn't see where they were going. I didn't know she did a slam, so obviously I got my ass eaten by that. The tornadoes were a pain in the ass, quite literally, and I died. Second time around, I adapted to the icicles, evaded some tornadoes, but these two icicles that she shot from side to side were a little bit hard for me to dodge. And everything was looking pretty good for me until a tornado snuck up behind me, ultimately killing me. Third attempt was pitiful. I immediately died to the leap. Fourth attempt, I got better at dodging the icicles, but unfortunately I didn't know what to do when she used a maze ice block. As history repeats itself, I died to another tornado. On my fifth attempt, I immediately got hit by another slam, and being so low on HP and having healing grenades, I tossed it at Aurelia, learning that I can actually break the ice pillar with a grenade. But that wasn't enough to help me, so I died again to another tornado. Sixth attempt goes pretty well, until, you guessed it, another tornado downs me. Luckily this time around, there's a bandit that I could pop my second wind on, giving me a second chance at killing Aurelia, which I did. Did the garden puzzle, fought and killed the guardian, almost died, but luckily there is a dinosaur behind me that I could 2-tap. For some reason my video got corrupted and it didn't record Tannis getting kidnapped by the Calypsos. Met up with Vaughn and we executed a plan of saving Tannis, so we made our way to the Carnivora Festival. My ride wasn't pimp enough to enter the festival, so I'd hit up the exhibit. We killed some more COV, stole the golden car, and thanks to the golden car, we got into the carnival. I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell you guys, but we killed some more COV, and we started the Carnivora fight. Now, I was too slow to catch up with the Carnivora because I had to move perfectly parallel with it to just go barely fast enough to pass it up. So, I needed it to cut it off and take angles. I got the first fuel tank pretty easily, the second one pretty easily. The third one was a pain in the ass because I was spinning the entire time trying to catch up to it. I got inside its guts, and inside of its guts, we hit level 28, and I got to use this Undying Breath that I looted from a loot psycho back in Eden 6. We started the Pain and Terror fight. I absolutely obliterated the fight with this weapon. Saved Tannis, met up with Vaughn and defended Roland's Rest. With our egos sky high, we thought we could take the fights to the Calypsos, only to have my life slightly threatened, and I cowered in fear. We rethought our plan and went to Tannis's lab. Once we fought our way through some COV and got into her lab, I got fixated on this one puzzle for a little too long because I thought that was the right thing to do, only to find out that I was doing the wrong thing and I actually had to use different switches. I got the reactor vehicle, only to blow it up halfway through the ride. Again, shame was put upon me and I had to walk to the nearest catch-a-ride station. After we got the reactor delivered, it was time to fight the Calypsos. While fighting the COV, I found out that the only downside to using the Undying Breath is the orbs actually down me. We made our way to the first twin fight, which was Troy. Boss fight was pretty easy. I used to farm it back in the day when this game first came out for the Queen's Calling, and that gun was absolutely busted. After defeating Troy, we made our way back to Necrodefeo, where we found the absolute legend Typhon de Leon. We plugged in some vault keys, except one that we needed to go find. On our way to go get the key, General Trant blows up the bridge, having to make us waste our time and take an alternative route. On this alternative route, we ran into the General Trant fight, which, like Captain Trant, the shield was a little bit hard to break, but after that, I absolutely finger blasted him.
I'm joking! Stop!
We ran up on Typhon's wife's grave. He got a little mad and showed me where the vault key actually was. I put the key in, and we entered the vault, only to have to put in the keys again. So I gave Tannis the vault key, and then I was off to place the other three. While I was trying to place the other three, these platforms that rose out of the ground, one of them for some reason I could phase through, so I had to clear the gap. We met back up with Tannis. Unfortunately, Tyreen was there to intercept the vault key, and Tyreen kills my boy Typhon.
No.
With a vengeance in my heart, I took the fight to Tyrene. Fighting Tyrene, I accidentally downed myself with this pistol I had while breaking the eyeball on her back. I popped my second win from killing a bar kid, failed his jump rope laser that I was also confident that I can clear.
I got this. Okay.
Got back up from killing another bar kid. Unfortunately, I was too far away from Tyrene, and I couldn't catch up in time, nor could I actually do the obstacle course. But that didn't stop me from knocking her down again and ultimately killing her, beating Borderlands 3 by only strafing. So I hope you guys enjoy this breath of fresh air of me not punishing myself, but enjoy it while it lasts, because the next challenge I'm going to do is going to be more painful than the last. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next. Peace.